Are you overexposing your footage? So, when you're filming something, okay, there's this thing that your camera might have that might help you with determining if you're overexposing your footage or not. What is that thing? It's zebras. And we're not talking about the animal here, okay? So, what are zebras? From my experience thus far, zebras are this setting that some cameras have. And I think you could set 2 different zebra thresholds, but that might just be for certain cameras. But essentially the zebras, as far as I understand, is a point at which on screen, when you're overexposing something, the area that is overexposed past a certain percentage, I think, will begin to show up as this kind of striped line, black and white or whatever, like a zebra pattern, right? And it will show that that area, I think, has surpassed that percentage threshold that you've set for the amount of exposure or overexposure or whatever is the proper way to say that. So right now, it's like if you're shooting something and the zebra, say you have your zebra at 100%. As far as I understand, I could be wrong. If you have your zebra set at 100%, once you see that zebra show up in a certain area, as far as I understand, that lighting area is clipped, and I believe the detail of that area is lost. As far as I understand, you cannot get back that detail. It's just gone. It's just white now, right? As far as I understand. If you want to avoid that, consider putting zebras, if your camera has that, put zebras on, right? And set it at like whatever works for you. Whether it's like 90%, 95%, you're getting kind of close to the upper limit, but hopefully not past it. So then, you know, once the zebra shows up, it's like, okay, we're getting a bit, you know, it's a bit much in this area of exposure of the image. But in some cases, maybe you want to clip the highlights, or maybe you're okay with clipping the highlights of a certain area, like the sky or the clouds, or, you know, whatever. Certain highlights of a certain area of the shot, maybe you're okay with clipping those highlights, right? To the point where you can't really, where as far as I understand, you can't get any detail or information back from that spot. Depending on your camera and the amount of stops of dynamic range, and how the scene is lit, you might just have to put up with clipping highlights in a certain area. Unless you go and configure the lighting of a scene, or shoot during a different time of day, or adjust camera settings, or do whatever you got to do to try to prevent highlights clipping. But if you can't, or if you're just running and gunning, you might just have to, you know, to deal with it, you know, and try to just do what you can. So yeah, consider, if you can, using zebras. If your camera doesn't have zebras, does it have an HDMI out, whether it's micro or mini or full-size HDMI, you could consider getting an external video monitor that has zebras. Check to make sure that the video monitor that you have or that you're buying has zebras, right? Or even like false color is a thing that some monitors have, where it's like instead of zebras, it shows it as like color splotches of certain areas of the image, how exposed it is. False color is really probably better than zebras, because now you're not just setting it at like a certain threshold for the zebras to show up and show that it's exposing over a certain percentage in a certain area. Now it's like you're seeing the color as like, you know, whether it's green, gray, pink, you know, red, yellow, whatever the colors are for the type of false color exposure, whatever that you're using. But then in that area, you could see, okay, I want like certain areas, not too high exposure, not too low. I want it in this certain gray or pink area of exposure. And I think on the side of the monitor, depending on the monitor that you have, it might show where the percentage, where the color in the image correlates to what percentage level of exposure, right? Just kind of a more helpful version of exposure tool, right? So consider getting a monitor, an external video monitor that has false color if you want to go maybe a step above what Zebras may be able to offer you, or however the best way to say that is, right? And just kind of maybe go from there, watch some YouTube tutorials on it if you're more curious about it. I'm going to end the video there. If you got questions and you want to ask me questions, I have a Skool Community, link in description, currently running a 7-day free trial. Feel free to join. Thank you guys for watching.